everyone, this is Geoff Hall, and I'm here today with two of our ambassadors, world travelers, Peter Bonenfant.
Hello.
Okay, Brad Walk.
Hello.
Okay, People to People is the name of the program that they were involved in. And what they did is they acted as ambassadors. They went to Europe, Paris, Normandy, and England. London, England, and you were in Salisbury, England, and you did some night training and all of that stuff. Okay. Listen, let's start off. I'm going to try to take this on a day-by-day basis. What they told you initially was wear comfortable walking shoes. You guys do a lot of walking, Brad?
Yes, we did. We did a lot of walking every day, early morning, late at night.
You told me you lost some weight doing it so much, huh?
Yep.
How about you, Pete?
Yes, we definitely did a lot of walking. Wasn't a lot of stopping. Only stopped when they wanted us to see something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we only took motor coach when it was like a long distance, maybe a mile or two.
Okay.
But if it was half a mile, less than half a mile, it would have been walking.
Definitely.
So you take the plane, you land in Paris, right? And you're at the Palace of Versailles. Tell me a little bit about the Palace of Versailles.
It was very big.
Different than anything you see in the United States, Peter, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Had a lot of artwork in it. The gardens were magnificent.
You talked a little bit about that, Brad. You said, yeah, hunting lodge or something?
Yeah, what I thought was cool is it was originally a hunting lodge for the king.
King Louis XIV?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
okay.
thought that was amazing because it was huge.
Yeah.
And every room was gigantic and full of artwork and everything.
Imagine, this was built some 250 years ago, and without the type of machinery we have today. And you look at these huge rooms that you see. The United States has only been around itself since, well, we'll say a little over 200 years. So any of the buildings here are really new compared to what you saw in Paris, right?
Definitely.
Okay, so Paris, known as the City of Lights, largest cosmopolitan cities in all of the world. On the third day, okay, you fly in, you go to the Versailles, you stay to the hotel, right, in Paris. And from there, you are, and I took no French, guys, so I'm going to butcher a lot of these names. And you can probably pronounce them better than I can. But you're going to be at the Palace de Concorde, Champs-Élysées, and a tour of the Eiffel. So you go to the Eiffel Tower?
Yes, we did. The Eiffel Tower was very big. It was raining that day, so we didn't get to take the elevators all the way up to the top,
Yeah.
since there were lots of delays.
Yeah.
But we did get to go halfway up, and the platforms there had magnificent views.
Okay, Brad. So you're in the Eiffel Tower, and you look up. Do you get to see most of Paris through that?
Oh, definitely. You could see, when you're in Paris, you can see so many things. Like, you could see the Louvre, which is, I'm not saying it's far away, but it's really tall, and it was a really far distance that you could see.
But you could see it from the Eiffel Tower, Peter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could see the River Seine, the
Okay.
river that goes through Paris. We could see lots of bridges because they had to cross the river.
Sure.
But many older buildings like 1700s, which is unusual to see in America.
Very unusual to see in America. Yeah. Okay. Day 3. Okay, that's Friday, July 11th, just to give you an idea of when they were there. Was it hot there?
No, it was rainy, moist.
Almost every day, was it like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it was almost rainy every day. Surprisingly, it wasn't very rainy in England. And that's usually where it's pretty rainy.
Did they tell you? Did they tell you that was unusual weather for that area? Or?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the third day. And day 4, you were at the Louvre. Okay? And in the Louvre is where we see paintings. For example, you have a painting of the Mona Lisa.
Yep.
Okay? very, very famous painting,
yeah.
right? Right?
Yeah.
So there's a picture of the, and you also have, there it is, right there. Take a look at the picture.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
And that's the actual, that's the original Mona Lisa.
Yes,
Definitely.
it was, to be honest, it was kind of a disappointment. I know people say, I know you think it's so beautiful, but it's kind of small. I said, yeah, I know that. But when you go to it, you can see that, one, you're like 20 feet away from it, and it's behind glass, so you can't get a real good view of it.
Yeah.
And the room was crowded. And when we went there, they said that it's off, like no one is there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was crowded.
It was
There's
still
a good
crowded, huh?
100 people in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite what you expected of it then, Peter.
Yeah, it wasn't. Did you know it wasn't complete? The Mona Lisa isn't complete. Leonardo da Vinci didn't have enough time to finish it. The security there was enormous.
Ah.
Yeah, like big doors that shut and like it goes down into a big concrete room.
They also had there I guess the Venus de Milo.
Milo?
The Venus de Milo, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
From there, also in day 4, it says, discover your artistic stride while strolling around the famous artist quarters and you climb a series of steps to the you want to try this?
Probably gonna butcher it.
Basilique de Sacré
Yeah.
Couture, okay? This is where you see you guys, I think there's a picture of you guys sitting on the steps here of that, okay? Get that up there? Well, but this is the highest point in Paris, correct?
Yeah, well, it wasn't the
Here
highest.
it is, there's a picture of you guys.
Yeah.
All sitting on the steps and you climb up the top there? Okay.
Yep. It wasn't the highest point, but the building foundation was the highest up. And you could see the Eiffel Tower from there.
Okay.
So,
Did you get a better view, Peter, from there than you did the Eiffel Tower of all of Paris?
We didn't really, since the Eiffel Tower is more like open with more buildings.
Yep.
And that's covered by trees.
I see.
So there isn't a lot of viewing, and we didn't get to go all the way to the top to the bell tower,
Okay.
which would have been an amazing view.
yeah.
Why couldn't you go
It
to the bell
was-
tower?
It was raining out. We walked up to the halfway point, and two kids in our group were very, very afraid of heights.
Ah,
So
interesting. Yeah.
they got kind of freaked out, but it was a nice day out, kind of slippery, so we had to be careful. We walked up, and it was a long, long way up. So, but we got up there, and then we found out that it was going to rain, and they won't let the elevators run to go all the way up. So we just went gift shopping.
Okay.
What I thought was cool too is there's a restaurant in there. I know, and I found.
Did you guys eat at the restaurant?
No.
No, we didn't
Sadly
get to
not.
eat at the
But
restaurant.
I think it's a fancy restaurant too, and
Yeah,
expensive.
I'm sure that tourists that come in there with a great deal of money spend time because they want to dine at a place like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything spectacular about that that sticks out in your mind from that area?
Actually, I thought was also pretty awesome was we got to meet up with more ambassadors from people to people,
Okay.
and they were from Texas and Arizona. So
All of those kids that we saw on the lawn, were all of those ambassadors?
No, they weren't. That was just our group that we
Okay.
took a picture with.
Yeah.
I believe we met up with them at the Eiffel Tower.
Okay.
yes,
The next day, day 5, July 13th, is a Sunday, and you're at Disneyland in Paris.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I know that when we looked at the pictures before, I saw no pictures of Disneyland in Paris. Was that because you guys were having so much fun at Disneyland
Yeah.
and no one
Yes.
bothered to take any pictures? Okay.
Yeah.
But you were telling me, Peter, you said how was it compared to Disneyland in Florida?
Definitely, it was definitely smaller. It didn't have the 4 parks.
Mm-hmm.
It only had 2. It was the Disneyland and the Disney, the Hollywood Studios.
Okay.
What was cool is many of the big rides that people like in Disneyland in Florida were put there, like Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, and It's a Small World.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you say? You were telling me something interesting about as you were walking through, you found out a lot of the signs were what, Brad?
A lot of the signs were in English. I think that was because Disney's American,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people there spoke English too. The one place that wasn't in English was the Haunted Mansion.
Ah.
I gotta say, I was kind of disappointed because I couldn't understand, but it was the same exact thing.
Yeah. So you've been to both and you saw
Yeah.
some real similarities.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Disneyland in Paris, you go to day 6. How'd you guys sleep? I mean, with all of this excitement, did you get a good night's sleep? Were you
Yeah.
tired at night?
We were very tired. The hotel
Yeah.
was a Disney hotel, so it was really nice. Bunk beds, 2 bunk beds, well, 1 bunk bed and 2 beds on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also had a queen size bed. So 3 people in a room. It was, the beds were really soft, and it was just really nice.
And we got to go swimming in the pool there. I
Okay.
remember that, and they had like a rock slide, diving board.
Different than other hotels you've been in the past? Yeah.
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 definitely.
Much different. Day 6. It's Monday, July 14th. You know, it's interesting. Monday, July 14th is a very big day in Paris. You know why?
Bastille Day.
Yeah.
Bastille Day. You know what the Bastille was all about?
It was like their 4th of July. They won like over.
It's considered their Independence Day.
I
Yeah.
think they broke free from a prison that day.
There was the Bastille was a prison, and the rebels overtook the Bastille and freed the political prisoners, and then the French Revolution. That was the beginning of what was known as the French Revolution. And well, also a bit of history. The leaders of France, well, you know what they did with them?
Didn't they like chop off their heads?
They used the guillotine. I'm sure you didn't see that though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so day 6, on Bastille Day, which is interesting, you guys are at the Notre Dame Cathedral, okay? Incredibly, construction of this fantastic building began in 1163. 1163, 900 years ago. That is impressive in itself. Take a look at the picture there. 1163 they began. I think it took them, well, they didn't do it 2 or 3 years. But you know, you look at the sculptures and things like that. You guys get to go inside as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
If
Is
you-
it a tall building? Very tall?
Very tall.
Mm-hmm.
on the inside, you could tell it took a long time. Like most of the buildings, it was painted on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
All the ceilings were painted, sculptures, and also lots of stained glass. All the windows, which were very amazing, I thought, to look at.
Somebody has to go in and clean this place on a regular basis, right?
Yeah.
Were there a lot of people going in and out of there when you guys were
Yeah, a ton of people.
there? Yeah,
That was a huge line,
Yeah.
but it moved really fast.
very quickly. Because it was a huge line, did you guys get a chance to see all the things you wanted to?
Yes, we did. You're not allowed to go up in like the 2 posts, I don't believe. But different from the other church we went to up onto that had the big hill, we were allowed to take pictures inside of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good.
But I think this was very famous because it's so popular, and also about this church, there's people inside of it that were praying, so it was an active church,
Mm-hmm.
unlike the other one.
Yeah.
I don't think that one was active.
Yeah.
It was more of a tourist only
More
thing.
as a tourist attraction. It also tells you something about how important the church was to in that area of the world when they built the cathedrals such as this during this period of time, and the influence of the church. And I'm talking about the Catholic Church at the time in Paris by building that cathedral. So, but that must have been that was your last stop, I believe, in Paris, right, at the Notre Dame Cathedral. I think you had one picture on the inside of the cross there, but you traveled from there to Normandy, okay?
Yep.
You traveled to Normandy, and I know that there's several pictures you took at Normandy. Okay. Where were you there, do you know?
I think that was Utah Beach
Okay.
in Normandy.
Was that Omaha Beach?
Yeah, that was
one or the
Omaha.
other, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the significance? And that one I think is England. This is Stonehenge. So we're kind of jumping ahead. There we are. Okay. Of course, those were. Did you get a chance to see the cemeteries?
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We went to the American cemetery. I believe there's other cemeteries, like the French cemetery. There might be a German cemetery. But we only got to go to the American cemetery, which I thought was very beautiful.
Is it?
Yes.
Do you get this huge impression you see from it as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Up there, as you can see, we had a ceremony there, and they delivered the gifts, and we were actually with another people-to-people group
Okay.
of ambassadors, and we met up there, and we had a ceremony, and what I thought was amazing, they played the national anthem, and not one person in that cemetery didn't stop and salute or put their hand in the heart. And because it was the anniversary of Normandy,
I see. Yeah.
it was a lot of veterans going back
Yep.
to remember,
Okay.
and a lot of
Well,
family members.
the anniversary actually would have been. You're correct. It was because it would have been the 70th anniversary of it.
Yes.
But in June here, take a look at this picture.
Yeah,
What's going on there?
We all took a picture in there because everybody thought it was really cool. It was a bomb that dropped when the planes were trying to attack the bunkers, and it cratered all the dirt out. So we went in there and started.
So that's a crater
Pictures.
from. Okay.
In
And
the-
here, this picture here. What's that, Brad?
That is a bunker. You can't see it because it's not in there, obviously. But a gun would go in there, like a big cannon.
Okay.
And it was aiming at the beach, and it would kind of blend in, and it would shoot those ships that were trying to invade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This picture here. This tells you what? This is Omaha Beach.
Yeah, I believe that was Omaha Beach.
Yeah.
The U.S. soldiers, when they wanted to gain against the Germans, they would have had to climb up all that vegetation, and there wasn't a path down there. So they would have had to run up that with like machetes trying to cut through.
And it was a swamp. It was swampy, very moist.
Plus
Yeah,
plus
good,
carrying hundreds of 100 pounds of
Ammo,
materials.
guns.
But plus people were shooting at you with
Yes.
machine guns.
That tells you something about the bravery of these men
Yeah.
who did
Yeah.
this, bravery and the sacrifices. I mean,
Yeah.
when they got off of these boats, and these are the same type of boats that you see in Boston now, we
Yeah.
call duck boats, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
unbelievable what
Yeah.
they do. It's truly kind of sad because not only would they have, when they arrived, it was low tide, and I think that they said it was a mile from when they got off to the woods where it started to get a little, like they would get cover.
Yeah.
So they had to run a mile with heavy stuff on their back. Bombs would be exploding. There'd be big spikes that they would have to avoid.
Yeah.
Cold, wet, dark.
Wow.
Kinda
It's just-
sad.
It just, it really made an impression on both of you then, right?
Yeah,
That
definitely.
gives you an appreciation for, I guess, the the
It
freedoms
does.
that we have here today. And this I know you're both hockey players, and you go to school on a regular basis, and things like that. And I think things that sometimes people take for granted. And when
it
you
does.
see something like that, you say, wow, I wouldn't have these things if these people didn't sacrifice.
To be honest, I appreciate America more. Now that I've gone there, I've realized, I don't know how to say this, but every street you're on, you'd see homeless people sleeping, and it made your heart sad.
Yeah?
Some of them I don't think were like real, but others it'd be so sad. I saw this one guy, someone gave him a water bottle. He had a dog with him, and he put it all in the dog's bowl.
Wow.
It just makes me sad. And there's some
Makes you appreciate being
Yeah.
here in the United States, though, too,
And-
doesn't it?
people, I know people say France, people aren't that nice and stuff. And there's some really nice people there.
Good.
for sure.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so you do Normandy. You obviously left an impression, and then you travel to London.
Yep.
Okay, you travel to London. You've got to view the Magna Carta
It's
Okay.
Salisbury Cathedral.
at the Salisbury Cathedral. Okay, here's something. There's a couple of trips.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's a
Double-decker bus.
Did you get to travel on any of those?
No, we
No.
didn't.
But we had a coach. Sorry, but we had a coach, and it wasn't a double decker, but it was kind of like one because it was
It had
a
like
double
three.
decker.
It had like 3 seats,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was
And
the
then
driver, and then there was another stair up, and then then that was where all the most seats were.
What's that?
It's a red telephone box in England.
Okay, are they all over the place in England?
Not anymore. There used to be a lot of them. Like every once in a while, you'd come across one.
Why do you think they don't have many of them anymore?
Most people have cell phones now.
There you go.
Yep.
I mean, I can remember a lot of telephone booths here
Yeah.
back, and they just because of the cell phone. The Magna Carta, okay, in Salisbury. Stonehenge, okay. Were you impressed by this? I mean,
Yes.
okay, why?
Yeah.
What impressed you, Peter, about it?
What really impressed me is they didn't have like metal, a lot of metal or stuff like that. They had used like bones to create weapons.
Yep.
And they were able to lift it with just wooden tools and manpower, not using like, there's not a lot of water around there or anything.
And it is really, really big too, right?
Yeah.
And what I thought was cool too is we got there and everyone's like, where's Stonehenge? Where's the rocks?
Mm-hmm.
And we were all surprised. We got there, got our tickets, then we went on like a good 4 or 5 minute bus ride to Stonehenge. And I thought that was nice because it's not all built up with population and everything. So
Either of you
they
ever
kept
been to
it-
American Stonehenge?
No, I haven't.
Did you know there was an American Stonehenge?
I knew
thought
there
there
was
was.
an American Eiffel Tower in Vegas.
Yeah, I heard that there was a Carhenge.
Yeah.
Which cars?
No, there's American Stonehenge is actually right up in Salem, New Hampshire, and of course it's not as big as that. Hey, we got a picture of the Eiffel Tower here. We're back in France again. Here we go. Look at that. You guys must have been very impressed with that.
Yeah.
Okay, and you said you got to go what 2/3 of the way up there?
Yeah, 2/3. As you can see in the picture,
Yeah.
there is a bottom platform.
Who's
and
smiling in that picture?
It's me.
Okay.
And then there's another platform above that, and then there's a third platform.
Yep, right there. He's zooming in on it. That's,
Oh wow. Okay.
And that's all the way at the top.
and so you can't
I don't
walk
think I'd
up
want to
it.
do that either. So, go ahead, Brad.
You can't walk up all the way, so we had to take an elevator. You could take the elevator all the way up, but I don't know why we didn't do that.
Did you guys actually did some night training? And there's several pictures here of you guys with swords and stuff like that. Here,
Yeah.
night training.
Yeah,
And
we-
where was this? Where was this taken?
This is at
Salisbury.
Warwick Castle.
Okay.
Yes,
And it was created during the English Revolution when the House of York, I believe, wanted to fight the who was in government right there.
Okay.
And they set it up as pretty much primary defense. So if they were to attack, they could hold their position.
A little different weaponry than what we saw being used at Normandy, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. You could.
Really? Did you get to do any of this stuff?
Yeah,
or-
Yeah.
that's sword fighting.
Yeah.
We got a demonstration in the castle.
Mhm.
We had like a special guest presentation, I guess,
Yeah.
where there was a guy who was dressed like Warwick,
Mhm.
and he came out yelling at us, and he had his assistants, and then
He did that on purpose, though, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and then he started, and then someone laughed because it was kind of funny him telling us to kneel. And he got so upset. It was really nice because we got to experience that.
Okay. You get to go to Buckingham Palace?
We didn't get to go inside of it. We got to see the changing of the guard, though.
Okay. The
Yeah.
changing. I think there's a picture here, the changing of the guard.
Mm-hmm.
That's very impressive, is it not?
Yeah, it is very impressive to see all those people marching in those warm coats in the middle of summer.
In the middle of the summer. Yeah. What was the temperature like on a day like this? It's
that-
July.
That temperature was probably like 80s.
Okay. Did the Queen visit you guys? No, you couldn't get it down. Gee, that's too bad. Buckingham Palace, and of course, you said you visited. Did you actually go into Parliament? I think we got a picture of Parliament there
Yeah.
as well. And there we go. Okay.
Yeah. We didn't get to go in there. We got to go to the London School of Economics,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where the guy gave us his spiel on what he was telling us about the English government.
And
Okay.
again, it was the first day in England, so we were all tired, definitely from the ferry ride over. Again, that was definitely a long day, even though it was only a 1 hour time difference.
Did you guys see the Tower of London?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go inside the Tower
yeah.
of London?
Yeah, we got to see
That's
the
where Sir Walter Raleigh, he was held as prisoner, and
Yes.
Elizabeth I was held as prisoner. Listen, guys, we're kind of running out of time here. I'm going to ask you first, Brad, in about 20 seconds, what was your best part of it?
My best part of it was probably going to the Eiffel Tower. I've always read books about it. I've always wanted to go there. I never knew I could, and that's all I think of.
Yep.
Like when you hear France, think of the Eiffel Tower. So
Peter?
My favorite part probably was Warwick Castle,
Yeah.
where we got to train to be knights. It was a really fun day. We got to learn a lot about the English government and how they fought back then, about how they dressed back then, on like the armor they had back then.
That's it. You know, from talking to you guys here, it left a great impression on you, and I'm sure you both made great ambassadors. Peter,
Nice to meet you.
Brad, thank you both for coming on and representing our country.
thank you.
You're welcome.